guys something you guys I think I've suggested a couple times before. It is another start bench cut video, but in this video, and I think I maybe even done it before in one of the previous ones I've done, it's not going to be an entire video just on start bench cut. There's going to be some other different sort of pick'em type of things, but hopefully you guys don't mind that. If I can find more just specific start bench cut ones, or if you guys can think of ones to give me and I can look over them, I think that'd be a lot of fun too. So make sure to comment down below. Also make sure to like the video. I did take a day off. As you guys are seeing this video, it would be the day before. I was just filming a lot and I kind of needed a break, especially it being like my birthday week. It was a lot, so hopefully you guys don't mind that. But yeah, needed a little bit of a day off. But I'm back with another video. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I think we are going to start out with a couple of the start bench cut ones. And if you don't know the sort of premise of this sort of video, a start bench cut is they show you three players that are very similar, maybe the same position, maybe played in the same sort of time, maybe they're on the same sort of ranking all time, and you have to pick a player to start on your team, to bench on your team, or to keep on the bench, or to cut from your team. Obviously there's no wrong answers, at least in my opinion, so if you disagree, agree, again, it's all opinionated. We love opinions here on this channel. No one here is right or wrong, it's just everyone is friendly talking sports. So, we have one here that's a pretty interesting one. It is a sort of shooters one, and it's a start bench cut of Klay Thompson, Allen Iverson, and Reggie Miller. Wow, that's definitely very crazy. So, start bench cut of Klay, Ray Allen, and Reggie Miller. I think for me personally, the first guy I'm obviously going to start is Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is an amazing shooter, arguably just as good or even better than these players, but the defensive aspect that Klay Thompson brings compared to these guys is on another level. Klay Thompson is one of the best 3D players in the league, maybe all time. His defense is great, especially if you're thinking of like a prime Klay Thompson, you know, maybe like a 2016, 2017 Klay Thompson. Who knows? That's definitely a great player. So I think I'm starting that Klay Thompson. And this is when it gets really difficult, is when you're starting to compare Ray Allen and Reggie Miller. Now, obviously, Ray Allen is an amazing shooter. Is a sharp shooting threat no matter what. One of the best shooters of all time. Super duper clutch. An amazing sort of all-around player back in his days on the Bucks. If you guys are too young or were into basketball during that time, make sure you look up some of Ray Allen's Bucks highlights back in the day, even his Supersonic highlights. Amazing. Definitely awesome. But I think I am going to bench Reggie Miller and cut Ray Allen because, and the only sort of factor I'm bringing into this is that Reggie Miller was the best player and still is the best player and greatest player in Indiana Pacer history. He's the best player on that team. He was the best player on that team. He carried that franchise, and I think that sort of edge he brings to the game, also being super clutch of a player himself, I think that edges him over Ray Allen, at least in my opinion. So I'm going to start Klay Thompson because his versatility on offense and defense, and because you can plug and play him at any way, you can, plug him with any superstar, it'll be great. And then I'll go with Reggie Miller because, again, he just brings sort of different edge over Ray Allen in that sort of way. But like I down to starting Kevin Garnett or starting Anthony Davis. Man, I mean, oh man. I have an answer, but it hurts me. It hurts my heart because I love Kevin Garnett so much. He's an amazing player. His edge mentally over all of his competitors was unmatched, maybe unless you're like a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. Like, he had that sort of mentality of like, I'm going to win no matter what. Was an MVP in Minnesota and is an amazing player. But again, like on the previous one with Klay Thompson, just the versatility of Anthony Davis and players today being able to shoot the three, in my opinion, is very valuable. In the scoring ability of Anthony Davis, even, on the dribble, like the dude can score and dribble and, post moves and everything like that. He's an amazing player all around, and I think he definitely has a little bit of an edge over Kevin Garnett offensively in that sort of case, but is still a dominant defensive-minded guy who loves to play defense, block shots, control the paint. So I think I'm gonna start Anthony Davis, bench Dwight Howard, and cut Kevin Garnett. And like I said, that it hurts me a lot because I love Kevin Garnett, but I think Anthony Davis is just more versatile, if that makes sense. Kevin Garnett is just like the perfect power forward, but Anthony Davis is just a great all-around player, so I don't think that's a bad thing to say. If you want to start Kevin Garnett or bench him, that's awesome. If you want to cut Dwight Howard, definitely makes sense. Like I said, none of these are wrong answers. Okay, let's actually get into a little bit of a different sort of one, but it's still kind of similar. This one is, you can only keep 3. Obviously, it explains itself. Out of these players, you can only keep 3 of them. We have here Russell Westbrook, Kemba Walker, Chris Middleton, Jaylen Brown, Malcolm Brogdon, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Domantas Sabonis, and Jaren Jackson Jr. So, out of these players, you can only keep 3. So if I can only keep 3 of these players, I'm going to keep one of them for sure. Is going to be Jaylen Brown. I feel like Jaylen Brown has so much potential on offense, and his defense is already super great and it can't get better, which is scary. I really like his attitude, the sort of demeanor he carries himself with is great. You can tell he really wants to be better every year. He adds something to his game. He's adding a jump shot. He's adding more of a scoring, crafty scorer sort of play style to his already great defense. So I'm definitely taking Jaylen Brown for sure. Next, I think I'm going to keep. I think I'm gonna keep Jaren. I really Russell Westbrook is again a former MVP, but I guess if I was keeping and I was picking these players, these are the players I would pick. So I'm just being honest. Next up, for another you can only keep 3, is another sort of young star one, which this is really tough, but we're going to pick 3 out of these guys. We have Trae Young, Jamal Murray, John Morant, we were just talking about him. We have Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, who's in a lot of trade talks, Karl Anthony Towns, and Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo, Bam Adebayo, Bam Adebayo. Wow. Okay, so off rip, I'm taking Ja. Again, versatile player, could play amazing offense, amazing defense, can only get better. Literally just needs to add a jump shot, even if it's like a 33-35% three-point shooter of his career. That is absolutely perfect, and that's all he needs. So I think Ja is an amazing player to have. So I'm definitely picking Ja. Even though, man, Jamal Murray is definitely probably the most win now type of player that's on this list. But if I was picking, it says I can only keep 3, so I'm definitely gonna keep Ja. Ja's potential is just through the roof. Then I'm going to pick Devin Booker. Devin Booker, in my opinion, is the closest player in the NBA to a Kobe Bryant type of player where he can just score, and score. He's a great facilitator as well. Can play perfect at the 2 spot, maybe even being a bigger point guard if he really wanted to be. You could only really knock him for maybe, padded stats being on the Suns or just not playing great defense, but I think he's a really good player, so I think Devin Booker would definitely be the next person I would keep. I think I'm really just picking him over Donovan Mitchell, but you guys know I don't really like small guards, and I think Donovan Mitchell used to be like listed at like 6'3", 6'4", but now he's like 6'6'1", so now he's even shorter than what I thought he was. My opinion, he's a great player, but say I was a GM and I was picking a lineup, I would love to have Ja and Devin Booker, then Ja and Donovan Mitchell. I think it would just make more sense. And then I think I'm going to pick, me personally, I love my center to be the defensive anchor on my team. That's just the way I think of basketball. That's the way I would be if I was a GM. That's the way I pick teams when I do 2K League videos. So I'm gonna pick Bam. You could definitely pick Cat, and that's totally fine. I'm not saying Bam is better than Cat. I think individually he probably is better. He is better individually, but on a team aspect, if I was a GM, I would want Bam as my power forward or center because his defense is amazing. He's still a 15 to 20 point per game scorer. He's a good facilitator. He's crafty with the ball for being the 4 or the 5. I think that'd be awesome. Now, if you wanted more of a big man game, if you're more of a favor the center position, then that's fine if you take Cat. But in my opinion, it's just who cares about my opinion? I'd pick Bam. So I'm keeping Ja, Devin Booker, and Bam and a bio out of these. What is this? 3, 6, 7, 8 players. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. I found a lot of these different sort of categorized ones. These ones are whose duo is better or who's the better duo. This one, there's a couple of them. So again, there's this scenario, your second best player being Drew Holiday, I'm gonna take Jimmy and Devin Booker. Again, no wrong answers here. Oh wow, we actually have another one here. Who's the better duo? Kevin Durant and Luka Doncic, or LeBron James and Damian Lillard? Wow. Okay, well, Kevin Durant is hurt. Kevin Durant is still an amazing player, as we've seen. The dude scored like 10 points in like 5 minutes of the first quarter of an NBA Finals game on one leg, and that was pretty impressive. I thought, the Warriors were going to come back and beat the Raptors if KD was still going to play, and it seemed like that was what was going to happen, but he got hurt, which really sucked. You have Luka Doncic, who is an MVP candidate player himself, is scary because he can still improve his game, and I think he will as time goes on, as he slows the game down, becomes, a even smarter basketball player on the defensive end, and sort of learning how to, win this sort of mental battle of NBA basketball, like you hear from like Chris Paul and the smarter NBA type players like LeBron and Rondo and people like that. If he learns how to do that, that's definitely terrifying, and I think he will, because he's already a very smart player at a very young age. On the other hand, you have LeBron, who we see is still arguably the best player on the planet, and can still lift his, skills to a higher place when the time comes. Still a triple-double god, still an amazing defender when he wants to be, can score in bunches, still, run to the hoop whenever he wants to. And we have Damian Lillard, who is one of the craftiest scorers in the game, an amazing shooter, one of the best team leaders in all of sports, obviously making Portland, Oregon, a winning organization, sort of a state and franchise. It's pretty crazy. So who's the better duo? Man. Oh man, I really, like, you have no idea how bad I want to pick Kevin Durant and Luka Doncic. Like, it's just like the fact that Katie's hurt. I have no idea where he is right now. Oh man, this is really tough. Again, there's no wrong answers, but I'm still thinking about the people who are going to be like, oh well, LeBron's the GOAT, and but on the other hand, oh, Kevin Durant is still amazing, you're just blah blah blah, or you're just picking Damian because he's your favorite player, yada yada yada. But truly, honestly, if Kevin Durant and Luka Doncic were on a team, that would just be insane. And I know LeBron and Damian would be an amazing combo, and I would love that so much. I think I'm going to pick Kevin Durant and Luka Doncic because they're both just great players, and I can't deny that Kevin Durant will be any lesser of himself. I could pick the safe pick. Like I said, this is me picking the other pick. This is me doing the sort of, wild pick. I mean, obviously LeBron and Damian Lillard would still be an amazing combo. They'd probably win a championship together. They'd be an amazing duo together. But I'm going to say, if this is next year, which is obviously is, Luka Doncic will only be a better basketball player than he was last year. Only smarter, only faster, only understanding the NBA basketball better, which is terrifying. With that, plus Kevin Durant, let's say he's 85-90% of himself that he was last year. That's still an amazing player, so I'm going to pick Kevin Durant and Luka Doncic. Oh, wow. I really like this one. This one is, again, who's the better duo? But this one is Steph Curry and Tim Duncan. Or, well, yeah, Hakeem Olajuwon, I don't know why I said him first. And Magic Johnson. So you have Steph point guard, Magic point guard, and you have the bigs of Tim Duncan and Hakeem Olajuwon. So Curry obviously being the greatest shooter of all time, an amazing basketball savant on the floor, being the sort of maestro of this sort of a new style of NBA basketball that he's inspired out of kids all over the world, being, offensive juggernauts, being, 7-footers in the league, wanting to shoot threes and stretch the floor. It's been crazy. You have Tim Duncan, who like 16 or 15, like super late in his years. He was like a competitive swimmer and then picked up a basketball and never looked back. Like he was one of the best of all time. Obviously, he had a really good sort of system to play in. But I'm going to pick Magic and Hakeem. I'm not stupid. Mostly just because the defensive sort of mind of Magic and Hakeem, just I like that side more. Obviously, offensively, both of these players are very compatible with Curry and Duncan, who are great scorers in themselves. But I think defensively, with Magic being the bigger player, Hakeem being one of the most, I think he has the most, or almost the most block shots in a career. I think it's Hakeem. I think he has the most. I'm not entirely sure. Don't hold me to that, but he definitely has a lot. Still a great rebounder. Again, can trust the floor. I think they would just play better together than Curry and Duncan would. I think Curry and Duncan would be an amazing duo. I think that'd just be like an amazing Hall of Fame sort of duo. But I think Magic and Kareem would be a god squad on another level. Like, can never touch that duo ever in NBA history sort of duo. So I think that's why I'm gonna pick them over Curry and Duncan. Okay, I'm going to try to finish up here. I don't want to make this a super long sort of video. Wow. I think I'm going to end on this note for the last one. And if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like and let me know if you want me to do another part of these, because I love doing these sort of with you guys. Which lineup is better? Lineup number one includes Chris Paul. It has him in a Thunder jersey, but let's just say it's prime New Orleans Chris Paul. Or if you like Clippers Chris Paul more, you can pick him as well. So it's prime Chris Paul. Michael Jordan. It has Kevin Durant in a Brooklyn Nets jersey, but let's say it's a prime Kevin Durant. Karl Malone and Hakeem Olajuwon. So again, Chris Paul, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, Karl Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon. Or a lineup number two, John Stockton, Kobe Bryant, which again, prime Kobe Bryant, let's say, prime LeBron James, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille O'Neal, Big Diesel, Shaqtus himself. That's crazy. This is insane. I would pay probably every dollar I have ever made in my life to watch this game. This would be the best game of NBA basketball probably of all time. So I guess we can just go matchup wise really quick. So Chris Paul, John Stockton, almost the same player, almost the same player. Both basketball savants, both IQs off the chart, both very scrappy, smaller sized players who are great on the defensive end, really smart, knew how to slow the game down amazingly. Then you have Kobe and Michael. Obviously you have Michael Jordan, the GOAT, being the best player of all time, and Kobe Bryant being a cookie cutter version of that player. Matched his sort of demeanor, his play style, his jump shot, his basically everything. But obviously Michael just did it slightly better. And then you have here Kevin Durant, LeBron. Sort of battles they've had in the 2010s were insane. Kevin Durant always being the sort of, hey guys, I can be the best player in the world, I can do this, it's like very much an edge to like Jordan, who Teams 1 is arguably Team 1's best player, and then Team 2's player is LeBron. Both of the players are so different, but obviously being the best players on their teams, you sort of have to see how well the other players can fill up with that player. So obviously with the matchups together, like I really like lineup 2. I really do. I feel like LeBron being being the point forward of that team, controlling the ball a lot. John Stockton being an amazing spot-up shooter. He's a good, really good three-point shooter. You have Kobe, which in this picture is rookie Kobe, I think, but I'm talking prime Kobe Bryant, like 2006, 35 point per game scorer Kobe Bryant, you know what I mean? With prime LeBron James, it could be, Game 7, 2016 LeBron, if you really want him to be. It's whatever LeBron you want. You have Shaq, who, prime Shaq, my God, that's just terrifying. And then you have Sir Charles Barkley, the round now to rebound. I don't see how, if Kobe and if LeBron and if John Stockton ever missed a shot, I don't think the other team would ever even get another rebound, you know what I mean? Plus, I think the ball movement of lineup 2 would just be a lot better with LeBron and Stockton. I like Kevin Durant's sort of ability to pass the ball. Jordan's already sort of mocked as being not like a really good passer, but he was pretty decent. And then Chris Paul was one of the best, true point guards of all time. But that's really all they have as a facilitator, and I don't really like that. And I think just the play of basketball would just be better on Team 2 than Team 1. Maybe if it was all ISO ball, yeah, maybe lineup 1 would be better, because obviously Carmelo's a better scorer than Charles Barkley, Kevin Durant's a better scorer than LeBron, Jordan's a better scorer than Kobe Bryant. But if we're talking a basketball game, even if they're not even playing against each other, I think just the better lineup is lineup 2. I think it's more cohesive. I think it works better together. I think they're still a great defensive team. I think they're a great passing team. I think they're a great scoring team. So that's why I'm going to say lineup number 2. Wow, that's a lot. Sorry, that was kind of boring, or a lot to put in, but sort of just rambled on there. But again, there are absolutely no wrong answers with anything that I said in this video. You could say, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's everyone's opinion, and I would love to hear yours. So make sure you comment down below which ones you take. If you have other ones that you can think of would be kind of fun to do, I can do a video on those, or just I can comment on your comment about them. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of fun, but I really hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys have a safe day. Hope you guys are being safe. Hope you guys are being smart, healthy. If you have Halloween plans soon, I hope you are smart with those as well. And yeah, I will see you guys again in my next video very soon. Alright guys,